So you want to know more about this adorable little movie? Well, it's like You've Got Mail. It's really cute. It's like You've Got Mail, but except Meg Ryan writing letters to Tom Hanks. We've got Priyanka Chopra Jonas writing text messages to her dead fiance. It is so hilarious. It's such a comedy. I'm so glad this exists. Thank you for joining me here on my channel. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, and yeah, that's what this is really about. And they went the comedy route with this instead of the drama. This is Love Again. It's on Netflix. It has audio description, and it's been put out there for the world. And honestly, this is not even one of those, you know how like Netflix releases these like random cheap rom-coms? No, this is acquired. This is a licensed title from Sony, Screen Gems. This was a major title. Not really major. This wasn't major. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that word. This was a title from earlier this year with intended theatrical release, I believe. So, and it stars, as I said before, Miss Jonas. It stars also Mr. Jonas in a supporting role, Nick Jonas. He's slid in here too. He was like, I can't let her go on set by herself. I'm not controlling husband. I'll just do like, it'll just be fun. It'll be like, I'll do this like a guest appearance thing. Yeah. And then I can stay on set the whole time and watch Sam Heughan with my eyes. And if he gets anywhere near Priyanka, I swear to God. And then also Celine Dion. Yes. And I'm saying Celine Dion like a character because she is in more than one scene. It's not like one of those random celebrity cameos where like somebody just kind of shows up and they're like, whoa, I'm in the film, look at me, peace out, I did a cameo. Nope. She's in multiple scenes in this film. It's a little bit more like LeBron James and Trainwreck, where they actually like utilize her within the context of the plot. And she gets to sing, so she gets to do her thing in addition. And I should say that with everything that's going on with Celine Dion, it was actually really nice to see her in this. It was nice to see that before she started suffering her current medical health problems, that she was able to sort of nail home something. I guess I can't even think of a time she's ever really done this before. Acting, you know, like she's ever like sat down and been like, I'm gonna be in a movie. But we'll talk about it because this film really just kind of shoves her in there. It's like, oh, I'm gonna put her in. It's like trying to put a baby back inside after it's been birthed. We're like, no, we're not ready. Back inside the mom. There you go. Yeah, that works. We'll leave it there. This is one of the weirdest plots that we're trying to sell women on. But I know, ladies. Hi. I'm sure he's cute too. We think very similarly on things here on Mac the Movie Guy. I know you're watching this for Sam Heughan. Those of you that showed up. Lots of Outlander fans. Sadly, it's really hard for him to top anything he's ever done on Outlander. So I don't know really what you're expecting. He's even toned down the accent. It's not quite as, Ollie Jamie! You know, it's not quite as, if you're looking for that men in kilts, Outlander, deep Scottish accent, he's actually toned it down quite a bit here. I don't know, this may be his actual accent, who knows, but whatever he is, he just decided, it's a little bit much, I'm gonna bring it down a notch. So, Um, he plays a man who has recently been dumped a week before the wedding. Some hoe out there, I'm sorry, but she is. Let's be honest. She left Sam Hewen. You know, she's a hoe. She also isn't really a character in the films. I can say that with pretty solid confidence. We're not really supposed to like the exes of these people. It's not like we're like, she's beautiful and gorgeous, and I want to be exactly like the woman who broke up with Sam Hewen in Love Again. No. Yeah, like a week before the wedding. And we find this out, by the way, in the stupidest and most horribly written way possible, through exposition. But exposition delivered by the most random character to deliver the exposition. His boss. So Sam Hewen goes in, and he's sitting at a desk, right? And he goes into his boss's office and he sits down, and his boss goes, "Now I know I took a risk on you hiring another Brit like this so shortly after your fiance left you a week before your wedding, but but unfortunately I need you for this Celine Dion thing." And I'm like, what about him being left a week before his wedding is at all relevant to his job? Well, what about that? What about that at all? But his boss threw it in there so that the audience knew, oh, this dude was left a week before his wedding. I'm like, but his boss just said it to him while taking a podcast away from him and telling him he needed to interview Celine Dion. Like, what the... And this film pushes Celine Dion, like, really hard. Like, Celine Dion is, like, I don't know, like, the pulse of America at the time in which she's brought in. Literally, the boss is like, it's Celine, it's a Celineissance right now. Are you not paying any attention? Are you not paying attention to the Celineissance? We got Drake out there saying he's going to get a tattoo of her face. Tattoo of her face, man. Go fucking interview Celine Dion. It's like, okay. We gotta go interview Celine Dion because Drake's gonna tattoo Celine's face on his body. This movie's working out great. This is a great movie. But he also gets like a work phone. He has a work phone. And that's, unfortunately, the phone number of a dead guy. At the beginning of the film, we opened up on Priyanka Chopra Jonas. And she and her lovely boyfriend, they're at this, I don't know, like a cafe, basically, like a coffee shop / cafe. It didn't feel like a heavy restaurant, so I want to keep it light. And they're doing their cute couple flirting stuff, and having some good rapport. We're getting to build this relationship and see how adorkable they are together. And then he gets up, and they're like, "Oh, I'll see you later." No, you won't, because you're about to be Meet Joe Black, like immediately as soon as you walk out that fucking door. I know it's a spoiler, but oh my god, like, I mean, like, I've seen some characters like die later, or like we get that phone call and then we have to watch the person just like sob and then they like run to the hospital. I would have preferred any of those. This is the worst way to kill off a character in a rom-com. The guy walks outside and gets hit by a car. It's like, is he gonna come back as Brad Pitt at least? Like, is he coming, like, what? Like, she basically watches it happen. Like, she's basically in the cafe, and she's like, "Yes, oh my god, I love you, bye." Like, what did he do? Just, like, walk straight out into the street. It's like, "Da-da-da, I love my wife so much." Bam. You know, like, it's just, oh my god. It was just so aggressively jarring to have that. And I don't know what the payoff is. I don't know what the payoff was to kill him off in that exact moment. You know what I'm saying? This is the choices we make to kind of get through this part of the film really quickly so that we can get to the rom-com part of it and try to make people sort of giggle and laugh and be like, she's finding herself again. Oh my god, she's on Tinder and she met a terrible date. This is funny. And it's like, it's not really funny. This should be a drama. There's nothing wrong with this plot if they take it seriously. Like, if they go through it. You've got a guy who got left a week before his wedding, falling in love with a girl whose fiance just died. Why is this a comedy? Like, why? Why is this a comedy? By the way, while I love both Priyanka and Sam individually as actors, neither one of them are really known for rom-coms. So taking the opportunity to slow it down probably would have benefited them both a lot. It's not like you found yourself like Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher and you're like, well, obviously this has to be a comedy because I don't know what else to do with this. I can't put Ashton in a drama. Did you see Jobs? You know, like, it's just, yeah, it's very, very weird. And like the whole film just attacks this poor Priyanka like her thoughts don't matter. She's got a friend like shortly after who's like, why are you still out at your parents' grieving? You need to come back to New York. You need to come back here. You're my roommate. Okay? Okay, he wouldn't have wanted this for you. And by the way, you know what's creepy? It always just creeps me out. It's just like a side. We're going to step aside for a second. Dude's name was John. It's really creepy when Johns die in movies. Because then I'm like, is this a sign? Am I not supposed to go outside today? Am I, I think I'm gonna stay inside. I'm good. I'm just gonna stay here for a minute. Like, so I had to hear that name a lot. Anyway, but yeah, her best friend and roommate is, very pestering about her, ending her grieving process. Instead of just like letting her grieve on her own, she's just leaving voicemail after voicemail that we have to listen to. We have to listen to like 8 voicemails left by this chick. It's just like, come on now. Then anyway, she goes back to the city. She's a children's book illustrator. I feel like we've done that before. There cannot be that many children's book illustrators or authors before in rom-coms, but apparently there are. So it's sort of adjacent to the Meg Ryan thing, you know, who was like a bookstore owner. We've got a book illustrator, and Sam Heughan is a writer. So it's kind of like also being like Tom Hanks's bookstore. So it's a little like shop around the corner, because then she starts writing to her dead spouse's old cell phone number, thinking that, of course, the world couldn't possibly have given that phone away that quickly. You would be wrong. You would be wrong. This is actually probably a testament to the fact that if someone you love dies, pay for their cell phone for a little while, just so that people aren't texting them, until you're sure that nobody is texting anymore, and then let it go, because you never know who might end up with that phone number. It might be a guy who starts reading the text messages and is like, these words speak to me. I must date this woman. So then he goes and he tries to find her, not really knowing anything about her. Like, they talk about how she, his work friends, he doesn't really have any friends that aren't at work, joke about how this might be like a old granny, you know, who's confused and texting the wrong person. But he decides to show up anyway, and when she puts down a location of like where she's gonna be, and in one of her text messages, and he goes, and luckily she's on this terrible date, just an awful date with Nick Jonas, and he does get to see, oh, she's not a granny. Whoa, look at me. I can score. So, I will say that the film does play around with it because it can't. You have to also try to like Sam Heughan's character. So all he's reading are text messages that are not that revealing. She doesn't say that much. She's not like, "I wish you weren't dead." You know, like she doesn't do anything like that. She sometimes just writes like little like thoughts like, "The fall leaves are not as orange without you here." You know, it's just like really sort of like ambiguous things to the text messaging. And he's like, "I don't know what these are, but they're beautiful. She writes so well." Uh, but when he does find out, and then he Googles her, and like goes through her social, finds a picture of the ex, sees he's dead, and they're supposed to go on their first date. That's the moment. That's the moment. That's the switch flip moment where we're supposed to continue to either like him as a character or think he's creepy, because now he knows far too much about her. It's the part in the film, or in any film that's ever been like this. It's the part where Tom Hanks knew too much about Meg Ryan. It's the part where, in She Loves Me, where the guy knows too much about the girl. It's Shop Around the Corner. This part has been done before. They just changed it up a little bit. Unfortunately, they made it more depressing. So it's a little bit more creepy that he decides to go ahead and not tell her that he knows, and continue to play it off like, "Oh, she'll never find out." Dude, you're in a movie. Of course she's going to find out. So then we have to watch her fall in love again because it's called Love Again. And that's, I guess the film leads up to, will they or won't they? Will she forgive him or will she not forgive him? You decide. Does it even matter? Do you forgive him? Do you not forgive him? I wish this film was better. Celine Dion's great in this, by the way. Actually, I really enjoyed her. She gets to do her thing where she just gets to kind of be her. She gets to be a funny version of her. And she also gets to sing. Like, it's just checking off all three boxes. So it's not like she could ever be judged for not having range, because she's just playing herself. So how do I critique her for being herself? Like, I don't think you were a believable Celine Dion. Well, obviously she is, because she is. And the dialogue she's given is very kind of light and airy and fluffy. And at one point she calls and leaves a voice, and she calls and picks up, and somebody doesn't believe she's Celine Dion. So then she just like sings into the phone, and somebody's like, "Oh my God, it's Celine Dion." And I'm like, I feel like there are kids that are alive right now that have no idea who this is, but okay, so we're in a Selenaissance. This is an alternate universe. I get it. It's Drake's getting her face tattooed. So, yeah, it's, I don't know what to do with this plot. I mean, I like the actors. I think individually I've liked them in their previous works. Chemistry is fine. Priyanka's a little, she seems a little like stunted almost, because it's almost like she would rather this be a drama, but she keeps having to try to find ways to make herself like adorable and cute in a rom-com. And she's also trying to actually figure out how to act her character and grieve properly and be serious. Like, she's trying to be serious at sometimes, but the film doesn't want her to be. So I think the drama part really would have suited her better, because I think that's where she was trying to pull it. She doesn't push too much into the comedy as much as some other rom-com actresses would have, had they been given this role. And Sam Heughan, just all he has to do is just be Sam Heughan. I mean, let's be honest. That's really all he has to do. Did anybody else expect anything else from him? Are you expecting? No one is. The audio description is fine. It's it does let us know what's happening. It tracks the characters. There's supporting cast of people I will never remember who they were, and their character names, and at least it helped me sort of follow them through this I don't know what to do with film. There really isn't a whole lot of fancy stuff to describe, but when it does get fancy, it's very nice to have it. One scene has them going to the opera, and we do get Priyanka's dress described to us. There's also a focus on the fact that neither of them like to wear real shoes. They like to wear sneakers with everything, even if they're dressed up. So that's an interesting thing to go over. Just kind of stuff like that. It's pretty easy. There isn't really a whole lot here. Stuff to, like a lot of looking at phones. A lot of looking at phones in this movie. So a lot of screens, a lot of things being said on the screen. So that's kind of what you're in for here. She does draw, and I kind of wish more of the illustrations were narrated, since that's such a huge part of who her character is and what she does. But I don't know how much of them are shown. They just talk about them a lot, and that would be maybe my only thing. But otherwise, I don't know, I have a problem with the audio description. I just think this plot is really weird to force into a comedy. There's something really funny about it. Why is this funny? This should be like a Me Before You. This should be like The Lake House. This should be Meet Joe Black. All of those were dramas. They all dealt with like a tough subject matter. This deals with a tough subject matter. I don't know why it's light and airy and fluffy. It's so weird. And it's not even that well written. That exposition where the boss just suddenly slides in the thing about him being left a week. I was like, why is that relevant to his job? Why? Did anybody actually think about that before they wrote that exposition in, that he probably isn't the character to give that dialogue? I mean, honestly, it's like you're forcing it. You feel like it has to be said as quickly as possible so that we all know. But was that the right character to deliver it? And if you have a screenwriter who isn't asking those kind of questions, then they're not asking those kind of questions for anything else in the movie. They're just kind of vomiting out a screenplay. They're like, oh, this works. I read the book. This is close enough to the book. Dude, if the boss in the book vomits that bullshit, then I don't know. Nobody should have ever read that book. It's the worst character to deliver that exposition ever. Anyway, that's it. This is my thought on Love Again. I'm gonna give Love Again a C. It's right in the middle. You can do what you want with it. There are parts of it that work and parts of it that don't. I like the cast. I think the plot is weird to be in a rom-com. It's not terrible, but it also is not great. It has a lot of problems with the script, a lot of choices it makes that I would not have made. I don't think anybody would have made. Celine Dion's in this like she's Jesus, but also it's very nice to see Celine Dion considering everything she's going through right now. It was actually kind of refreshing because I was like, oh, well, at least she got to do this. This is a good, because she had to have done this fairly recently. I don't think Love Again has been sitting on the shelf for like 5 years. Maybe it has. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I do have a website, MacTheMovieGuy.com. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or Threads at MacTheMovieGuy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what is audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. It'll let you know who is narrating your favorite films and television shows. That's it. I will review something else for you guys and see you on the other side.